Okay. Let's see. Today, is my fox on the screen? My fox broken. Oh no, my fox is alive. Hello, people. Today I'm probably gonna work more on the visuals of the hub, or I might work on getting the rooms to work. I'm not sure yet. Or I could work on the lobby system. That's also an option. Honestly, I'm not sure. Oh, right. I don't have test here. I just have regular test. There we go. Nice Z clipping. Honestly, I think I might work on the lobby then. However, custom service. I'm also gonna have to figure out how that works. I'm too lazy to do that right now, though. Guess you could just build. Let's see. Modules. We are probably gonna want a room module to just house everything. I also need to go copy my organization code because I don't have that. My apologies. Hi, Ara. What's up? You gonna stay around today? Please stay around. What? No. How dare you leave? Ara abandoned me. He's the worst brother ever. Oh, he's back. Hello. Stop leaving and coming back. Oh, hey, John, what's up? What I've done, I literally just pure did building. This is all I did last stream. What are you playing, Ara? ETOH? Okay, hang on. Let me... Ethan, what is coals? And what is ETOH, Ara? I don't know acronyms. Please, type the full thing, I beg you. Eternal Towers of Hell for the Uncultured. For those uncultured. Ethan, you're evil. Really? Okay, my laptop's dead. Guess I have to use my main computer for research. This is gonna be room prompt. And this be room module. This is gonna be... Let's just do prompt.name for the action. That makes it a bit easier. Cycle room. Maybe a temporary terminal. I'm gonna this is already grouped, yeah. This is the gate group. This is the room lift. If I group all that together, this makes a room section. Now, room module is going to need a cycle room function as an event handler. Got cycle room, and that's gonna pass the prompt and the player. I think prompt player, yeah. Prompt, which is a proximity prompt, player, which is a player. Print cycle, just so I can check that works later. But that's the prompt that's gonna operate this. Yeah. I'm also gonna have a table for local room data. Okay, so and I'm gonna eventually put all the rooms in here, have them have their own data, as in like variables, so I can check if it's claimed, unclaimed, who it's claimed by, that sort of stuff. First thing I think we want to make work is the rotation of the gate. Where is your pivot point? I want the pivot to be centered on this. So can just take that position and make this the gates model, this world pivot, be there. In theory, that's down there now. this is and I'm gonna have an internal function for raising and lowering the gate. So function toggle gate. Then I'm gonna pass the gate, which is gonna be a model, and then open, which is gonna be a bool. We're gonna be using tween service. It's gonna be an anchored part, so we're just gonna grab that tween service. Game get service. Sorry, it's been like 4 days since I've coded, so my brain is a bit rusty right now. Local positions. Open is vector create, and then is vector create. Actually, that might be the other way around. Nope. This. And then local goal rotation is flat. I think that's right, because if that's true, it'll be open. If it's false, it'll be closed. With one end, of course, 2 ends is a bit much for rotation. Local tween info. Info.new, and then let's say 1 second should be fine. Enum dot easing style would be cubic as a general one you want to use because it looks decent. And then we want easing direction to be in and out, so it accelerates and decelerates in both directions. Hi Vulcan, it's been a second, what's up? Homework, yeah, homework's painful. We can also just create the tween here. So, alright, just fill me in then. Actually, no. I need a separate part. I need to be tweening a vector. So... Sure. New, and this is a vector free value. Because I can't tween a model itself, I need to be tweening an instance value. Tween vector dot value is going to be not open. Open and conditions.for. I think that should be decent. What have I done with the game lately? I don't know if you were there for the generation. Can't really show that because I don't want to mess with lighting right now. But I did a bit of 3D modeling last stream and built this. This is gonna be part of the main hub. Whew. It looks even better when you're actually in game because it gives you that first person plus camera plus, you know, gets you in here. Yeah, I modeled everything myself. I had a bit of help from Chappie with keybinds and using Blender, but this guy over here, completely made by my hand. It was fun. Meshes are fun. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, gate. In theory, I should be able to do this, and queen vector. Then value, I think. Value equals. This is gonna be the goal rotation. That's exciting. Add me in as a sentient donut. I might add a sentient donut. And I should be able to just play the tween. Play. However, I do need to connect a run service. Game. Get service. Run service. Then over here, I can make a gate anim, I guess. Run service. Dot heartbeat connect function. And then this will just update the gate's position. I think that's fine. Except it has the number of brackets wrong. One, two. Okay, that's C-frame position. Times that, and it needs one more bracket. And then when we do, that's the wait, and this is gonna wait for the playtime, which is 1 second, and it's just gonna disconnect. You know, to clean up after itself. And then I can just throw this in here as toggle gate. Gate is gonna be prompt. Actually, let's have a variable for room. Local room. Prompt dot parent time. And then gate is just gonna be room.gate. And for now, let's just toggle open to be true. Let's see if this works. Apparently not. So it doesn't have an... Oh, I know why it doesn't work. I didn't tag the... I didn't give the proximity prompt a tag, so it's never registered. Room prompt is the tag I'm gonna give it. Now it should register. Alright. Now it's giving me the errors. Tweenvector.v. Wait, what? Okay. Not even mad because the AI wrote that. Don't know where it got V from though. Z is also not a valid member. Why is it not a valid vector? Oh, because it's dot value dot Z. Bugs are fun. What? I'm sorry. What? Well, I clearly got something wrong. Um. uh. Let's see. X, Y, Z is fine. I might just zero these out, see what that does. Well, I guess that works. But this needs to be 80 maybe? And it'll go in the right direction? Okay, good. What currently though is an issue is it's not taking the pivot point into consideration. Because I give it a pivot point, but it's not using the pivot point. 8. Oh, this... Okay, I messed up the pivot point. That's my fault. Eight, and then we'll pivot there. That should work now. There we go. Maybe making this a bit slower would be ideal. Can you explain C-frame rotation? I'm not really doing a C-frame rotation. Like, all I'm doing is taking an orientation, turning it into a C-frame, and then changing it. Basically, this just gets the position, and then I'm adding the rotation to it. I don't know how else to tell you that. And I'm just pivoting the entire model. I made a mistake because I increased the playtime, but not the disconnect time. No, I mean the C-frame and... Oh, you mean this? C-frame with angles? I don't know, I filled this in. Like, this basically just does an orientation. It turns an orientation with the math.rad into a radian rotation. You can also do from orientation, which is basically the same. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just works. I've been saying this over the last like every stream. I am not a good teacher, but this works. And then I'm gonna do over here. Ask, wait 1 second, and then close the gate. Yeah, that works. What if I stand on it while it's closing? Oh! Oops. That was a mistake. I will be right back. Alright, my apologies, I am back. Door works. Now, how do I wanna... Okay, what I'm probably gonna do is... Ooh, how do I make it so it feels consistent? Here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. I'm gonna wanna put like 2 on the bottom. And then have the actual loaded room be placed down here. I think would be ideal. I'm also gonna just delete these so it's a bit easier to work around here. These are on a specific offset from each other, I'm pretty sure. They're 30. So, the idea is this room becomes the player room. Why did I just put the player room? Oh. Room lift top. And then that's the player room. And we have a bottom section as well. This is the bottom section. Keep the bars, and then I can delete all but one room. And then I'll just have 2 of these on the bottom. So, in theory, what ends up happening is player room, lift, and the bottom together like this get moved up. I think that's player room. Nope, player room is 1 further down. It gets moved up to the player room, this opens up. And then when the player disconnects, this whole thing moves back down. I'm gonna group this as the lift itself. So it's easier to, pivot them all. I'm gonna take the player room and just change the color to something ridiculous so it's obvious which one it is. And when I bring it up, it should be obvious that's the player room. Okay. We're also gonna do a function for toggle lift, which is gonna be lift model. And this is gonna be up or down. In theory, we could just do this whole code. Again, change the positions though. And then, if not, up there, down there. Keep the tween info the same, probably make it take longer. We're gonna be changing the lift, not the gate. And actually, we're gonna be doing... Oh, hey Mixie. We're gonna be doing position stuff. Oh, you're number 1 somehow. Stole it from Vulcan. um... I should be able to just... times... lift, get, pivot, dot... rotation, I think. And then I can just do the tween vector position, I think. Dot keyframe or dot value actually. I know that I don't know how you're number 1 even though you just joined. That you like the stream or something? That gives you a bit more points probably. Watch this just completely have a stroke. This is the lift. I'm gonna grab this position for now. I'm gonna have to edit this slightly because... yeah. It's not always gonna be on that. Oops. Get the lift up here. Get that position. And then we can do that here. So hopefully it doesn't go flying away into the ether. And I can do toggle lift. I do want to define the... actually, I can just do room.lift, can't I? Yeah. Parts for TV guy arrived today? Ooh. Sounds fun. Exciting. Oh, this one over here. So, if I toggle... I feel like I might have inverted it. Just slightly. There we go. That should be proper now. It doesn't do an infinite scrolling thing. It's just has extra where there. It just has extra rooms on the bottom there by default. Yeah, there we go. And then it goes back down to reset. That's why it has the reset loop, otherwise it would need to do an infinite scrolling thing, and honestly, I'm a tad too lazy to implement that. So it just does this. And then I can just load and unload the player room because it's out of view down there. Now, if I were to duplicate this over to here, right? What are the chances that this just goes and has a stroke? Other than a lot. Oh no. Oh no. Well, that's something. Could be an easy fix though. Lift position is lift get pivot dot position, and I can just do lift dot x. Oh no, not lift dot x, lift position. And then over here, lift position dot z, and then just copy down. So we're only affecting the height value and not the horizontal planes. Let's see. You continue to work. You also work. There we go. Hi Chappie, welcome to the stream. Another thing I could do is on the downwards, or position it down, I can do plus vector rate 0 math.random and then 0, and then let's say 5 to 10 studs should be okay. Well, let's make that smaller. 6 to 10 studs. Because in theory, when it goes back down, it should be a little random. So it's not perfectly aligned every time. Other than when it brings the player room up. Because then that's important to be aligned. Interesting how that still seems to be aligned. Why is it still aligned? It should not be aligned. I'm giving it a math.random. Unless I'm messing this up. Oh no, because this should be the goal value. This should be the goal value, and this should be lift position. So goal value down. That's what I need to add to. That's my fault. That is literally what I'm doing, Mixie. That's what the math.random is. I just put it onto the starting position instead of the goal position because I'm a bit stupid. And yeah, they rest at different positions now. Though I'm gonna make that math.random wider. So it has a much more substantial effect, hopefully. Bop. And bop. Where I'm looking is where the little sticky out bits line up on the side, on the middle here. Yeah, they rest at different positions. Gives a bit of randomness to them. And now I'm gonna be doing a quick bit of stress testing. I'm just gonna run down the line and well, this is gonna take a second. Okay, they do all rest at different positions. Though I want it to be more extreme. So I could do math.random 1 through 5, and each is a 5 stud difference. It basically just increases how much variation there is instead of having a chance for it to be smooth. That makes it better wording. It increases the increment. Print module. Oh, I do. Let's just double these for now. Pop. Oh my god, it looks so funny when you're speedier and the arms are just doing their thing. In theory, they should be a lot more offset from each other. Yeah, I think that works a bit better. And then you won't see the top of them because I'm gonna have like a fade effect. Actually, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that fade effect that I just mentioned. Transparency 0.5. Can I just spam these? Oh, that becomes an issue with the windows, doesn't it? Unless, actually, I turn all of these into glass. Because I'm pretty sure glass occludes, what's it called? Yeah, it does occlude. Make this completely black. And throw that up there. Am I blind or can I just not see through the fog? Right now it just looks like a wall. Hang on. Transparency. Oh, right, because glass also occludes other transparent objects. Ah. I don't know how I'm gonna do that fade effect. Though I'm probably gonna replace these with just a solid part for the window instead of having the one-way window effect on it. Mostly because no one's ever gonna be in those. They're only gonna be in the player modules. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Alright, well, that works. Opens, it works. I'm probably gonna have a function for load player room. You know, so it actually loads in the components. And I'm gonna make another one function, check availability. And this is gonna return true or false. And then if not, like if check availability is false, then return this. Hopefully I'm gonna have check availability, check if player already has a pod, and check if left is in use. Hi Stan, welcome to the stream. This is the first time I had two moderators on at the same time. This is the first time I had two moderators on at the same time. Like, what am I paying you guys for when you guys don't even show up half the time? I know I'm not paying you, but you get me. For now, let's just return false. Return true, sorry. This is gonna be... Wait, I'm pretty sure this is just lift. And then this will be the room lift, which is a model, and the player, which is a player. Chappie, don't you dare. I need you here. Do I have a... Yes. I do have one of these. New player dot has pod is false for right now. And then let me just remind myself. Alright, I should be able to just do as I want with that. Where is the get player object? Oh, I see. So over here I can go local server script service get game get service server script service, and then other modules local player module is require server script service dot modules dot player module, and then in check availability yeah, in check availability I can go local player object is player module get player object player.user ID. If player object dot has pod, then return false. Else return true, and player.haspod is true. So with I need at least 2 pods set up. That's 1. That's 2. In theory, if I go over here, toggle this and it doesn't error, because I didn't actually give it the inputs. Go over here. Alright, that works. Now, in theory, I shouldn't be able to trigger this. Awesome. Because I already have a pod, so I can't claim another pod. That's perfect. I'm also gonna over here have if not room data square bracket room lift then initialize initialize room initialize room lift function initialize room lift is a model, then do. And then I'll just do room data bracket room lift is lift data. Actually, I'll just leave it as is. Room lift is open. And then this can be just gate open false and lift up is false, and then taken by is going to be a user ID. And then in here, this is just going to be room data, room lift dot lift up is going to be true. Gate open is going to be true. This is going to be taken by, and it's going to be the player.user ID. There. If room data dot room lift up is equal to true, then else it'll do this cycle, and then otherwise it'll do this cycle, and taken by is going to be 0. Oh, and I should be able to only check availability if the room is like so. And then over here we check if room data room lift dot taken by equal to not equal to player.user ID, then return. So only the player who owns it can send it up and send it back down. And then this checks if the player already has one, and if it is already claimed. If room data bracket room lift dot lift up, so if the lift is already up, so it's taken by someone, then return false. So technically people shouldn't be able to overwrite each other's claims, and only the claimed person can return the lift. So I shouldn't be able to claim this one. Okay. I should be able to send this one back down. I need to change that order, but yes. And in theory, I should be able to claim this one now. No, because I never actually reset the player's claim. I need to switch these around. And then I also need to do local player object is player module get player object, player has pod false. Because you've just unclaimed the pod. Okay, now it should work. I hope. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be super upset. Because I don't know why it doesn't work. Alright, I unclaimed that. I should be able to claim this. And I can claim that. Can I claim this one while that one's claimed? No, I can't. Okay, logic works. That makes me happy. Another thing I should do is event handling. Function module.player removing player. I don't need to get the player object. I should be able to just loop through room data. Data instant in room data view. Then I'm actually just gonna do this. Just have a forced cycle in here. And to test that, I need to create a test server of 2. So, clients, 2 people. And I don't think you guys will be able to see this, sadly, because of how Roblox creates the new windows, and it's evil. Oh, I don't even spawn up there. Do I have a spawn position? Yes, I do. I'm gonna pop that up here. I need to test this because if it doesn't work, then that's upsetting. And I needed to reset when a player leaves. Ow, it's still not gonna work because I didn't actually connect it. Oh my god. Basically, I'm stupid. We're not surprised. Over here, I need to go to the player module. No, the room module. And it's gonna have an event of player removing. And then I'm gonna check in the server handler if I actually have that hooked up, which I don't. I just do this. There we go. Now I can hopefully test it and see it's broken, probably. Well, I spawned in the correct position. I can claim it properly. And then if I leave, that should just... Okay, yeah, it unclaims it. That's good. And I just realized, technically, I can just preload the player's rooms and have them hidden in a folder, and then just move it into the right position, so I don't need to constantly load and unload it when a player unclaims and claims somewhere else to move it for some reason. Honestly, I'm surprised this basically worked first try. But honestly, now comes the hard part of actually loading and making the rooms work. Because I have no idea how I'm gonna save the data. I'm also gonna need a placement system, aren't I? Ah. Okay. Let's think about the placement system. Placement module. But this is actually gonna be client-sided. Or at least the visual part. Let me just get my organization in here. I lost my pins. Where did my pins disappear? Oh, there they are. Okay, so placement module. This is gonna be hopefully a simple one. Function module start placement. This is gonna be given a model. Actually, I'm gonna make it so you can designate a blueprint. And then the regular model. Active tasks, we're gonna have a placement task. And then over here, we're just gonna do local blueprint is blueprint, but if there isn't a blueprint, it'll just use the model. And then we clone it. Actually, yeah. Blueprint.parent is workspace. Placement visual is run service, I think. Oh, you're watching John's stream too? Evil. Run service, get service. This be on run service.render step. And every render step, it's gonna do okay, let's get the local player. Local players is game get service players because that's a storage, and then we're just gonna grab the local player. Local player is players dot local player, and then local player get mouse. Local mouse is that. Mouse dot it dot and then we should be able to just do blueprint pivot to that as a test for now. And to run the test, we're just gonna throw in a script that's gonna be a client run context. Local module is fire script parent pass up wait, and we're gonna do 5 seconds before it starts, and then we're gonna do module dot start placement, and then the blueprint can just be a regular part. Script.part. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pivot 2 is not a val member of that. Do this wrong. Ow, not parent scribbled part. And I'm gonna make sure that's a model so it doesn't have an issue with it being just an instance. Oh, yep, okay, well, this works as intended. Next, we have to change this. Local array result is workspace, raycast, and origin is gonna be workspace dot current. Actually, can I just do mouse dot origin? Mouse dot origin. Yeah, I can. Mouse dot mouse dot hit take away. No, actually origin. Mouse dot origin take away mouse dot hit. And then we can just times 1.5 to make that a bit longer to make sure. And we also want raycast params. Local raycast params is ray compressor new. Raycast parameters dot filter descendant instances of blueprint. And then just pass raycast params in here. If not ray result, then return. Else, we're gonna pivot to a completely new C-frame. C-frame.new, and this is gonna be ray result dot position. We give it 5 seconds to kick in, and then it has a bunch of errors. I'll hit dot position. That, and then we can just do vector create 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. I messed up my brackets. Now, this needs a comma. And unable cast coordinate C-frame to vector 3. What? Oh, origin, it's a position. Oh my god, that's my fault. Oh, John's still here as well. Hi, John. Another thing I need to put in is... Actually, where's placement module? There. This and local player.character. Welcome back. What did you get for yourself, Ethan? Hello? Where's the part? Where is the part? Do I have this the wrong way around? Might have this the wrong way around. Ooh, you got a donut. What kind? Is it just plain or? Oh, okay, I had that the wrong way around. This works now. That works. Now, I wanna... Local goal position, and we're gonna do some fun things to this. Is that we are going to divide this by... I want them to be able to use their avatar. It's fine already as is. We're gonna divide this by... What? 4? I don't want to divide by 4 because that's a big placement. I want to... But dividing by 1 doesn't work. Does it? Anyways, let's just do this. And then mass dot floor. And then multiply by that again. That's annoying. Vector create. Normalize the array result dot addition dot x y and then z. Internal function normalize number. This is gonna just return over up here. Let's just define grid size 1 for now. Number divided by grid size and math.floor times grid size. That should work. Nope, that didn't work because why would it? What if I up the grid size? Am I not applying it correctly? Up. Oh, okay, it's still using ray result. Maybe just a goal. Alright, well, that works as intended. It's now on grid. Oh, it's a placement system. I'm working out the system itself. The actual part is not for anything, really. It says a temporary placeholder so I can actually see it working or not working. Another thing I'm gonna do is local y is gonna be normalize But over here, I'm gonna do another ray cast. Floor ray. This is origin. Origin is gonna be 2 studs up, and it's gonna be -3 studs with the same ray params. If floor ray, then floor ray dot position, but y plus grid size. I think that should work. Basically, it should make it so it doesn't clip through the floor. Hopefully. Nope, still clips through the floor. That is because this should be ray result dot position dot y plus 2. So it should be above, then it should poke down. Still not the intended result. Okay. Wee. Okay, so we is triggering, but why is this not? That is literally what I'm doing here. The normalized ray plus grid size, which is +1. That is genuinely what's happening here. What if I do double grid size? If I literally put 1 there, it's not going to change anything. Oh, you know why? Because I'm stupid, that's why it's not working. I never changed the one in the goal position. There we go. It was doing the maths correctly, it's just I never told it to use the new math. But yeah, that's on a grid now. Now, the question is, if I grab myself a player room, how am I gonna make it take the grid size of this? Because it... Ooh, I need a light in there. I made placement systems before, those are easy enough. The hard part is gonna be making it so it uses an internal grid in here. So it has an offset, so, you know. Also, damn, these lights suck. They barely light up anything. I need to make better lights. Oops. An area, what would an area query do? I don't need to find parts in here. What I need is to somehow offset the grid. You know? I need to offset the grid to be lining up with this. Let's make sure this thing is perfectly one stud though. On a stud grid. There. I'll just use this as an example now. For now. Anchored, and I'm also gonna change the color so it's not that. And then in here, I'm gonna have local example lock is workspace.example lock. It has to be a capital A because it's an instance. Local offset. What would local offset be? Probably the difference. Oh, this is lowercase o. So example lock dot get pivot dot position takeaway vector dot create, and let's just get it. Example position lowercase e, please. Minus vector dot create, and then I think just normalize example position dot x and repeat for y and z. Y and z, and then this plus offset thing should work. If that works, I should be able to drag it from perfectly its corner to perfectly the other corner, which is not what's happening. I need to change the grid. How do I change the grid so it's attaching to here? Because the whole idea is that this as that. I might need to take away the offset instead of adding it, actually. Yes. Over here. Take away offset. Nope, that was not it. Why is this so annoying? Any tips to make less messy code? Well, give labels so you have everything grouped. For example, in this module grip, I have all my function services, storage services. Down over here, I have global functions, I have internal functions. It's all grouped like that. And use module scripts is another example. Make a zone, and if the part is in a bounding box with that zone, then the grid switches. Okay, that the thing is, the grid switching part is the issue right now. Because, oh no, messed up my camera handler somehow. Oh, it's just bugged. An occasional. The thing is, I don't know how I need to switch it. So it's still on a stud grid, but it has that offset of, you know, being lined up with, Ooh, I might need to do a grid offset. How do I grid offset? How do I grid offset? How do I offset? Because I can't just edit the where is normalize? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. This. This is assuming the position and the grid is perfect. Ooh, hang on. Idea. Over here. Here. So instead of just adjusting, no, because the grid still doesn't. Because this down here is raw math. I need to offset the entire grid itself instead of this over here. How do I offset the entire grid if it's... Because if I change this, that changes the grid size. What can I do to affect the grid position? I'm gonna look it up because I don't know. That's not gonna work either. Because I still don't know how to translate that into telling the code to differently math. I love how every place that I'm looking at is like, oh, how to remove offset from a grid placement system, not give it. I need to give it. How does this math even work? Because currently we have a grid. Let's visualize this. Size 111. And then let's normalize the position. And then make another color. Then movement of 1, control group. So this is the grid right now. This is what it grids to. If I click play and go over here, well, if I didn't have an offset on it, why is it offset? Hang on, why is it offset? This makes no sense. This could be a setup issue on my part. Hang on. Okay, right now it's doing this. This makes sense, yeah? On the correct grid. However, I need it to be on this thing's grid. So what if I throw in... I keep opening the wrong module. What if I throw in the offset now? Well, this axis worked. This one is having a bit of an issue, but that might be a scaling issue. And it's offset on here. Size. Oh, because it's 0.5 in size. They should be couldn't have a 0.5 in size. So if I move this to some ridiculous movement, it should just clip to this now. Apparently that, nope. Does it clip over here? No. My brain hurts. What if I add the offset? That surely will help. Adding the offset did something. Why does it have a 0.5 size again? Didn't have a 0.5 size. Alright, well, that just works now. Alright. That's awesome. I genuinely don't know how I got that to work. Oh, by the way, I can press C and then free place. That's pretty neat. Free my mouse. I don't have to just look. Alright. Well, that works. Now... I need to be able to tell it to place, to actually place the thing. Because that's just the visual of it following your mouse. And I want it to place on the server. So I need to have a remote telling the server to place. Remotes. We're gonna have a new remote. This is gonna be placement remote. We're gonna initialize the remote since local a note. You also want replicated storage. Replicated storage. Placement remote is replicated storage remote still. There. If I take a pick at this, module input table 2, interesting. So if over here I do right, how can I do mouse click input? Button 1. Client fill, and it's gonna be place. Here, event handling functional fill dot place print test, and then I'm just gonna use my arrows to indicate this is coming from the client user input handler. For future reference. But I do need to tag it with, not sure. What? Do I need to tag it? I don't need. They don't seem. Print inputs. These. That's no. Okay. Documentation, my friend. It should be like that, though. Let me just check over here. Input changed. Oh, but it's on the input began. Okay. This. This, and then dot, dot. Let's just do unknown for now. Find placement module, and then the action is place. And then maybe this will work. Oh, yes, it does. Okay. Let's just have local active. Let's make that false by default. Active is true. I said false, not function. And then over here, if active is false, then return. So it should only place when active. Alright, that works. And then when we place, we do do I have a standardized remote handler? Oh, that's okay. F handler do. Oh, that runs generation. Oh, I just have remote handler. Okay. placement, and then we just do placement remote fire server. Ooh, I'm gonna have to do checking. I'm gonna have to do placement checking for the player on the server, otherwise hackers can just fire the remote and be like, yeah, I want to place this and this. I'll just do place, and then this can be extra data. Gonna be script dot part. Wait, what? Oh no, this is script dot part. For now. And then over here we have, well, we're going to have, I can find my organization. Here, jump to that message and then copy the handler layout. Throw a script in here. This is going to be placement remote handler. Throw that in there. Instances, storage services, local replicated storage, game get service, created storage, local placement, remote is replicated storage dot remote dot placement remote placement remote on server rent connect function dot 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 player action dot dot dot. We're also gonna do local server service get service first script service local placement module is require server script service dot modules dot serve dot place module, and we're also gonna create that. And copy the layout into here. You always copy the layout. It's always organized. Nice and neat. And then we have function module place something. And this is why did it jump back there? This is coming from the placement remote handler. This is giving me player. Then we can just check what else. And placement module also gives me the part, which is actually a model. This should also give a position, a vector. I need to make sure I send the position over here. Send current position, and I throw current position over here. .0 to initialize it with a nil. Then down here I can do current position is goal position. Just to have that updated. And then in theory I should be able to place cubes. No, I can't place cubes. Why can't I place cubes? Oh, because I never actually made the code over here. Placement module. Square bracket, action, regular bracket, dot dot dot. Now, player first. Player, dot dot dot. There, now it actually triggers it. So I'm just voiding. Never mind, it's still voiding for some reason. This happens. Goes into Oh, because I never coded it, because I'm a moron. I need to actually code it for it to work. Doesn't just magic. So I just do model clone dot parent is workspace. Actually, local clone is model clone, model pivot to position, model parent is workspace, and then I'm gonna mute my phone because it keeps giving me notifications. Parent is workspace. That should do, hopefully. Unable to cast vector free to coordinate through a C-frame because pivot 2 uses a C-frame, not a position. I keep forgetting that C-frame, the new position. And now I finally should be able to place blocks. Yay, I can build. I used to be able to build. Why can't I build anymore? Oh, because I don't actually use the clone, I use the actual model like a stupid fox. I'm a stupid fox. There. Now I can build. I made a construction system. Oh, that's a bit funky. Should be fine though. But yeah, I have a building system that is on a offsetable grid. Which I'm gonna have to work with the mouse on because this is not right. I think I need to apply the opposite of the offset to the actual mouse position. If I can find my placement module again. I lost my placement module. I'm blind. There it is. Okay. Offset. I also need to grab this and take away offset.x, take away offset.z. Maybe that'll help, or it just will make it worse. We'll see. Oop. Apparently that made it worse. I should not be able to do that. Building diagonal. Like, I could just build diagonal stairs like that, which I shouldn't be able to. Let's see. This is clearly not the answer then. Oh wait, this is adding the offset after. Can I somehow... Hang on. Let me think. This is probably not gonna work, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Yeah, that is worse, but... hmm. Ooh, okay, hang on. What might be the issue is I am doing math.floor without adding a 0.5, so it can round up or down. Well, that's interesting. Okay, but this is still an issue. Like... hmm. Okay, well, I'll have to figure out verticality differently later. But sideways works decent. I don't know why it's... Okay, it's because I want to offset the grid. It's not happy with me trying to offset the grid. Oh, and now it's in the floor again because I removed the patch. Where? Over here. Does this still work, by the way? Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? I really feel like... What can I do to make the offset less of an issue? Because... it's still using the 1x1 mouse grid and then it's just correcting so it's offset from the mouse as well. I honestly don't know. I'll have to brain on this at a later date. With a fresh set of eyes because I'm tired. But that works, I guess. Ooh, but I need to find something else to work on because there's still stuff I could do with the placement, but I don't want to until I figure out the grid thing. What else could I work on? I'd say I could do loading and unloading, but I can't do that either because I need the placement thing to work before then. I make a light cube because I'm bored. There we go, light cube. I actually like the look of that. Light cube. Fill group. There we go. Light cube. Light cube, light cube, light cube, light cube, light cube, light cube. Sorry, light cubes. Those are neat. They might actually use the light cubes as the light fixtures hanging from the seat from up above. I'm also gonna be able to... I'm also gonna need to limit where you can place. Oh god, hiccups are killing me. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go and figure that out. I might just end stream here for today though. As mentioned, streams are gonna end up being a lot later in the day because of reasons beyond my control. That's gonna start Thursday, I'm pretty sure. So this is my last stream at this time. I hope there's some people interested in that time zone. It's gonna be quite late for my current viewers, which is depressing. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. If you're still here, make sure to like, subscribe, join the Discord if you're interested. And, well, goodbye.